Hi guys, this is 5.4, Solving Proportions. So we only have one goal today, and that's how to solve for a missing value in a proportion statement. But we're going to learn how to do it three different ways. Mental math, the multiplication property of equality, and cross products. Quick reminder of what a proportion is. It's an equation that states that two ratios are equivalent. So what's on the left is equal to what's on the right. So the first method is mental math. You've already done this. You want to think about this like it's the double number line. Okay, so here I've got the proportion 2 is to 3 as 4 is to n. So you want to think about, can you make the jump between the two known quantities? Can you use mental math to jump from 2 to 4? And of course, 2 times 2 is 4. So then to keep it proportional, I have to make the same jump. So 3 times 2 is 6, therefore n is equal to 6. So if you can make that jump between the two known quantities using mental math, that jump is the same for the missing value. All right, so let's talk about method number 2. So this is going to be using the multiplication property of equality. Okay, two key understandings. This is stuff you already know, but we want to kind of put everything together. Okay, so first key understanding. The product of any fraction multiplied by its denominator is its numerator. So for example, if you have n over 3 times 3, remember, that's going to cancel out, and the product is the numerator. So when you multiply a fraction by its denominator, it equals the numerator. Second key concept you need to understand is that multiplication property of equality, which states if you multiply both sides of an equation by the same factor, it stays equal. What you do is you create an equivalent equation. So if I have the equation n divided by 4 equals 3, and I multiply both sides of that equation by 4, so I'm going to multiply 4 times n over 4 and 4 times 3. On the left, this cancels out, and 3 times 4 is 12, so n equals 12. That's the same idea as a one-step equation. So let's talk about how those concepts apply to using a proportion. So here's my proportion. 5 is to 7 as x is to 21. So you write the proportion, and our goal is again to isolate that variable. I want to know the value of x. If I multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator of x by 21, what's going to happen is the 21 under the x is going to cancel out. So that's going to leave me with x. And then I just have to multiply 21 times 5 over 7, which is 15. So the solution for x equals 15. Okay, let's try an example. Let's do number 1. So I have w is to 6. So w is to 6 as 6 is to 9. My goal is to find the value of w. So I need to get rid of that 6 in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply the left side by 6. And to keep it equal, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the equation. So I'm going to multiply the other side times 6 as well. This side cancels out, and I get a w. And 6 over 9 times 6 is 36 over 9, which simplifies to 4. So my solution is w equals 4. So to use the multiplication property of equality, you multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator that's under the unknown value. Okay, method 3, cross products. So a couple key understandings. 1, we've already talked about how we know that the cross products of a proportion are equivalent. We did that in the earlier sections where you did cross products and you were looking to see if the cross products were equal. If they were, you knew it was proportional. If they weren't, you knew it was not proportional. So we know that the cross products of a proportion are equivalent. For example, 3 is to 5 as 15 is to 25. If you multiply the cross products, 3 times 25, you get 75. And 5 times 15, you get 75. That is proportional. Second key understanding. The product of a constant, which is just another name for a number, and a variable is a variable term. So if you multiply a 3 times an n, its product is 3n. If you multiply x times a 4, the product is 4x. We normally write the number first in a variable term. And the third key understanding, to solve a one-step multiplication equation, we divide by the coefficient. Remember that coefficient there is the number in front of the variable. So 3n equals 24. If you divide both sides by 3, this cancels out, and n equals 8. So we can use all three of those understandings to solve for a missing value in a proportion statement. So here I have x is to 8 as 7 is to 10. So first I multiply my cross product. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 7 and x times 10. So here's my statement, x times 10, which is 10x, and 8 times 7, which is 56. Now this should look familiar to you because it's basically a one-step equation. So now I have 10x equals 56. I divide both sides by 10, and I get x equals 5.6. Okay, so let's try one. Let's do number 4. So 2 is to 7 as x is to 28. So you're going to use that cross products method. I know a lot of you call it the butterfly method, and that's 100% fine. Call it whatever you want as long as you do it correctly. Right? So you're going to multiply 2 times 28 on one side, and on the other side, my other pair of cross products is a 7 times x. So that's going to be 7 times x. Well, 2 times 28, that's going to be a 56. And 7 times x is 7x. Now, to find the value of x, I divide by 7, and if I do that on the left, I have to do that on the right. Here I get x, and 56 divided by 7 is 8. So the value of x is 8. Okay, one more problem. Let's do a real-life problem. I'm always going to hammer home for you guys. Always, 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 please start with the labels because that's going to keep everything in your problem organized. So in my problem, I'm told that 3 medium pizzas cost $26.97. And I want to know how much is it going to cost for 10 medium pizzas. 10 medium pizzas. So, start with the labels. What am I counting? Well, I'm counting pizzas. So one of my labels is number of pizzas. And my other label is dollars, how much it costs. So, pizzas on top, dollars on the bottom. And you could flip-flop it. You could have put the dollars on top and the pizzas on the bottom. But what's important is, once you set up your labels, keep the numbers aligned with the labels. So all of my numerators are going to be numbers of pizzas, and all of my denominators are going to be dollar amounts. So what I do know is that 3 pizzas cost $26.97. So 3 pizzas on top and 26.97 on the bottom. And I know that that is going to be equal to the cost of 10 pizzas. So 3 and 10, those are the numbers of pizzas. And 26.97 and my unknown number, I'll use n, is going to be the cost. Then to solve, I'm going to use my cross products. 3 times n is 3n, and 26.97 is 269.7. Then to find the value of n, which remember is going to be the cost of 10 pizzas, I divide by 3. And n equals 89.9. Now be careful. N is the cost of 10 pizzas. We don't say things cost $89.9. Money has 2 decimal places. Whenever you have 1 digit in the tenths place, you need to add a trailing 0. So the answer to this question would be 10 pizzas, 10 medium pizzas, cost, oh, let me fix that, cost $89.90.